watching ABC News. This is ABC Midday and I am Peggy Nyakwambano. Coming up in the next hour. The ECOWAS Court of Justice has dismissed former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokondu's application seeking temporary prohibition orders to halt the work of the committee that investigated her removal from office. Still to come, International Police Agency Interpol has officially removed the red notice issued against former Ghanaian Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. Meanwhile, the OSP has moved to clarify the situation. Business, the Ghana Union of Traders Association has warned the government not to rush into rolling out artificial intelligence system at the ports as it could be counterproductive. On the international front, US rapper Nicki Minaj has supported Trump's claim of Christians being persecuted in Nigeria at a historic speech at the United Nations. Stay with us, we have details of these and more coming up shortly. Watching ABC Midday News here on ABC News Ghana Television. We're streaming live on Facebook at ABC News GH _. Now to our stories. The ECOWAS Court of Justice has dismissed former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokondu's application seeking temporary prohibition orders to halt the work of the committee that investigates her removal from office. The court also rejected a preliminary objection from the government of Ghana, which argued that the regional courts lacked jurisdiction to hear the case. Justice Tokondu applied after the president constituted a committee chaired by Justice Gabriel Scott Poaman to inquire into matters that eventually led to her removal and the swearing-in of her successor, Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. In its ruling on Wednesday, November 19, 2025, the ECOWAS Court held that although the former Chief Justice had established a prima facie case alleging human rights violations, she failed to demonstrate the urgency required for the court to issue temporary orders stopping the committee's proceedings. The judges noted that despite being suspended on April 22, 2025, and fully aware of the ongoing processes, she waited 3 months before filing her motion undermining her own claims of imminent or irreparable harm. As a result, the request for prohibition order was dismissed. The court also addressed a separate objection by Ghana's Attorney General, who argued that the matter was sub judice because related issues were before a Ghanaian court. The ECOWAS court disagreed, describing the objection as misplaced. According to the ruling, the application before the regional court concerns alleged violations of Justice Tokondu's human rights during the suspension and removal process and does not seek to review or overturn any decision of a Ghanaian court. The judges further clarified that the sub judice principle applies only when a matter is awaiting judgment elsewhere, not merely because two cases share similar facts. The court concluded that it has jurisdiction to determine the substantive matter, having established the existence of a prima facie human rights claim. It therefore declared the main application admissible and directed the Attorney General to file a response. Joining us on the line is constitutional lawyer Kwame Adofo. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, my sister.
Right. Now, the ECOWAS court has dismissed Justice Tokonu's case to halt the committee's investigation and proceedings into her matter. What do you make of that?
Well, look, I suppose that will be the end of the battle at the ECOWAS court. And you see, I did not have much faith in the ECOWAS court in the sense that there's something called the sovereignty of every nation. When a country makes a decision, a foreign court are usually unlikely to interfere with the sovereign, the will of the sovereign people in their own courts. So I did not initially have much hope in the sense that I was just asking myself, what are they going to say? Because if they say it's unlawful, it will be deemed to be interfering with the internal affairs of the country. And therefore, I did not even have much hope in it in the first place. But I can say that with the final ruling in this case, it means that as far as a battle before the Commonwealth Court. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But the case, the dismissal is for the temporary halt for the committee to stop investigating the issue. But her case about human rights violation still holds.
Yes, but I mean, the whole point is she generally does not accept the way she was dismissed. That is her main contention. In terms of the human rights violation, they are all other matters, so to speak. Her main contention is the way she was driven out of office. Was it proper or was not proper? That matter is still before the Supreme Court, which is now being rendered nugatory in the sense that there is now a substantive Chief Justice in place, which means I cannot see, it means that case, we have finished hearing that case. The reason why I'm saying we have finished hearing that case is because there is now a substantive Chief Justice. Are we saying that the Chief Justice will set up a panel to hear the case that will remove him from office? It's not something that will happen. So it means that case has now been decided already. And even though the matter before the Commonwealth Court, what is it called? The West Africa Court has been partially decided. I think at the end of the day, what she actually wanted was a ruling that the procedure and the process was unfair and unlawful. I think that's the main matter that she was seeking before the court.
All right. Lawyer Adolfo, so are you saying that the human rights violation case in the ECOWAS court is not going to end up on a good note for her? It's not going to yield any positive results?
Even if it's ruled, my point is, even if he ruled in her favor, that is not what she wanted. Because the way she was driven out of office, she wants a determination that it was unlawful. I'm of the view that that decision could be held only in Ghana. But we have a situation where a new Chief Justice is in place. And the new Chief Justice will set up a panel to hear that matter. And I'm saying that makes it difficult because that Chief Justice or the Chief Justice now who has an interest in the outcome of the matter. And therefore, it is not likely that any favorable decision will be given to the former Chief Justice Tokono.
All right. So is the former Chief Justice fighting an already lost fight?
Well, look, the decision to remove her was never a legal decision. The decision to remove her from office was a political decision. in that there has never been any ruling, lawfully so called by any court of competent jurisdiction, to say that her removal was lawful. So the decision to remove her was political. And therefore, once it's political, the courts are usually reluctant to interfere. So I am hesitant to say it's a lost cause because it was never a legal decision to start with. It was just a political decision. And therefore...
You have just 1 minute remaining.
Hello, all right. Hello, Lawyer Adolfo.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, I said we now know that the three arms of government, the only powerful part of the government that we do have is the executive. And therefore, if the president wants to remove a chief justice, he can easily remove a chief justice. That's what we know now. So that's a lesson for all of us to know going forward.
All right. We'll be coming back to you for further conversations on the recent development concerning the OSP and Ken Oforiatta. So thank you for your time this afternoon.
You're always welcome.
Right. That was constitutional lawyer Kwame Adolfo sharing his thoughts and speaking on matters concerning the dismissal of Justice Tokonu's case to hold the investigative committee's work concerning her case. Now, in more news, the former Ashanti Regional Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party has accused the NDC government of targeting ordinary Ghanaians, although the public believes that the administration is only fighting the opposition. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Dennis Kwakwa expressed distrust in the current justice system and urged Ghanaians to be cautious. He urged that many citizens appear unconcerned about the former Chief Justice removal simply because the NPP has become unpopular in their eyes. According to him, this indifference will eventually lead to regret, insisting that supporting the removal of the Justice Tokonu sets a dangerous precedent for the country.
If they've been able to remove the Chief Justice, who else can be convicted in this country? And so from today, don't always count on what comes out of the court as the truth. Matters relating to government and any person or agency going into the courts, you don't have to have the hope that you are going to be served with justice. We are in crisis. We are back to the days of revolution. Unfortunately, Ghanaians are behaving as if they don't care simply because NPP became unpopular in their eyes, and they think that the NDC government is fighting the MPP. The NDC government is not fighting the MPP, it is fighting ordinary Ghanaians as well. And so very soon, we shall begin to see what comes out of the court. And we are all going to regret the actions of supporting whoever supported the removal of the Chief Justice is going to regret, ever wished, and hope that somebody of that caliber could be removed from office. If they've been able to remove the Chief Justice, who else can be convicted in this country? And so from today...
In more news, International Police Agency Interpol has officially removed the red notice issued against former Ghanaian Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta. The decision came after his lawyers argued that the request was based on a politically motivated investigation and failed to meet the required criteria, including having formal charges in the recognized court. The Office of the Special Prosecutor had initially issued the red notice in June 2025 after Oforiatta failed to appear for an investigative interview regarding multiple allegations of corruption and financial irregularities during his tenure. Oforiatta's legal team and family had petitioned Interpol's Commission for the Control of Files to have the notice removed, arguing the OSP's actions violated due process and were politically driven. The OSP in turn had insisted on his physical presence for questioning, rejecting requests for virtual appearances on medical grounds. The removal of the red notice means that the initial request did not meet Interpol's rules, which strictly forbid using their system for political, military, religious, or racial reasons, or for cases involving administrative issues like public financial management without formal judicial charges. So let's take a look at the OSP's notice. We'll be bringing notice, but meanwhile, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has clarified reports suggesting the Interpol removed a red notice alert issued against former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. In a public notice issued on Wednesday, November 19, 2025, the OSP described the report as born of mischief and misinformation. The statement comes after media outlets claimed that Interpol had withdrawn the red notice following investigations into the circumstances surrounding the OSP's request, despite the fact that no formal charges have been filed against Mr. Ofori-Atta. The OSP explained that in October 2025, the Commission for the Control of Interpol's Files notified Ghanaian authorities that Mr. Ofori-Atta had applied to have his name removed from the red notice. Ghana's response was submitted on 22nd October 2025. Let's take a look at the statement from the OSP. Interpol red notice Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta. In October 2025, the Commission for the Control of Interpol's Files notified Ghanaian authorities that accused Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta had applied for the removal of his name from Interpol's red notice. The Commission requested Ghana's response to Mr. Ofori-Atta's application. Ghana's response was duly submitted on 22nd October 2025. By communication dated 7th November 2025, the Commission for the Control of Interpol's Files notified Ghanaian authorities that accused Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta had filed additional arguments in an addendum, and the Commission requested Ghanaian authorities to file their response to Mr. Ofori-Atta's additional arguments by 21st November 2025. The proceedings are still pending, and the Commission for the Control of Interpol's Files is still studying the case. During the pendency of the proceedings, the applicant's name, image, and details are often redacted from public view until a final determination is made. The public is urged to disregard all publications to the contrary as born of mischief and misinformation. So this is the public notice from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. OSP saying in the statement that Ken Ofori-Atta's name has been taken off their red notice upon request from his lawyers, but is urging the public to disregard any information that has not been identified or written in their statement as misinformation. We'll be bringing you further conversations on this, but still on court and investigation-related issues. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Kayine, has defended the Economic and Organized Crimes Office decision to impose high bail conditions in major corruption cases and financial crime cases, especially those involving appointees of the previous administration. Dr. was responding to questions from Habib Idrisu, Member of Parliament for Tolon and First Deputy Minority Whip, who sought clarification on the recent bail terms set by IOCO and whether alternative arrangements could be considered. Explaining the legal basis for IOCO's actions, Dr. Anyine noted that the office, like all law enforcement bodies, operates under Article 14, Clause 9 of the Constitution, which permits the arrest and release of suspects either unconditionally or on reasonable terms that ensure they appear before the court. He rejected suggestions that the high bail conditions target former government officials, stressing that the requirements vary according to the nature of the alleged crime.
I've already made it abundantly clear that the Economic and Organized Crime Office and other law enforcement agencies under my ministry are not acting arbitrarily. Bail depends on the crime, the gravity of the crime. And so what we are seeing now is that the sums involved in the criminal investigations are very huge. And because they are very huge, if you set very low bail conditions in terms of the sums, the likelihood is that when the person, the suspect, escapes or is unavailable to stand trial, whatever you are able to extort in justification will not be able to offset the sum that is involved, the criminal liability that is involved. So, for instance, if you have a situation where the suspect is accused of, let's say, causing financial loss to the state in the sum of 1 billion Ghana cedis, or stealing in the sum of 31.1 million Ghana cedis, you cannot set bail terms that are, unjustifiably low. So it is the magnitude of the offenses we are dealing with that dictates that we set bail sums that reasonably justify the crimes that have been committed or alleged to have been committed. I've already made it abundantly clear that the Economic and Organized Crime Office and other law enforcement agencies under my ministry are not acting arbitrarily. Bail depends on the crime, the gravity of the crime. And so what we are seeing now is that the sums involved in the criminal investigations are very huge. And because they are very huge, if you set very low bail conditions in terms of the sums, the likelihood is that when the person, the suspect, escapes or is unavailable to stand trial, whatever you are able to extort in justification will not be able to offset the sum that is involved, the criminal liability that is involved. So, for instance, if you have a situation where the suspect is accused of, let's say, causing financial loss to the state in the sum of 1 billion Ghana cedis, or stealing in the sum of 31.1 million Ghana cedis, you cannot set bail terms that are, unjustifiably low. So it is the magnitude of the offenses we are dealing with.
Still in Parliament, the minority in Parliament has criticized the government, John Dramani Mahamat's administration, for approving a $10.4 million tax waiver for Tata Consultancy Services Limited in connection with the implementation of the Integrated Tax Administration System project. Under the agreement, the government has exempted TCS from a 20% withholding tax and value-added tax on its income, a move aimed at offering financial relief to the company and facilitating a smooth rollout of the ITAS initiative. Minority Chief Whip Frank Anodompe, speaking on the floor of Parliament on Tuesday, November 18, 2025, questioned the credibility of the NDC government, arguing that it had previously opposed more than 40 tax waiver requests presented under the Kufuor administration.
Views is premised on principle. So last year, and I'm happy my friend, the minister, is here. In his other world, he was the minority leader. And I witnessed the passion with which he spoke against exemption generally. Back and forth, this House had to pass the exemption bill into law. And even at the point when we're bringing exemptions that were related to 1D, 1F, with the intention of creating jobs, 1D, 1F concept, creating jobs, tax waiver, our friend held the red flag, and it was all over the country. I don't know what has changed. So we are opposed and ab initio, we have to make this point. We are opposed to this exemption. A whooping volume of 10 million being given to Tata. We are opposed. As because the reasons are not far-fetched. We want to appeal to our colleagues. They should stay on principle. He had espoused this principle last year, and now he was then minority leader, now he's finance minister. One would have thought that he's empowered to ensure that his principle that he believed then will be put into force. Now he's picking and choosing. When it's about Tata, he's bringing the exemption. When it's about...
In more news, President John Dramani Mahama has revealed that Cabinet has approved the Public Tribunal Bill, a bill move aimed at accelerating the prosecution of illegal mining cases in Ghana and across the country. The introduction of the Public Tribunal Bill, as explained by the President, is expected to strengthen the country's resolve and clamp down on galamsey activities and reinforce the government's commitment to safeguarding the environment. Speaking during a meeting with the Christian Council at the Jubilee House on Tuesday, November 18, 2025, the President said the new bill will empower public tribunals to handle galamsey-related offences, easing the pressure such as cases placed on the traditional court system and ensuring quicker, more efficient justice delivery.
And so one of the things Cabinet did the last time was to pass the Public Tribunals Bill so that we'll push issues to do with illegal mining to the public tribunals because they would adjudicate faster and let justice be seen to be done. And as the tribunals have it, they have a judge and then they have 4 other members who either have a legal background or of a certain level of understanding of the law. And so if that comes, we would be able to process, these cases against illegal mining even quicker. There's another aspect to it. One of the main focuses has been to push the illegal miners out of the forest reserves. And so part of the focus has been the forest reserves and then also mining on the water bodies. And so on the water bodies, they are seizing Shamfan machines.
We'll take a quick commercial break here. We'll be back with more news.
Hey, so mommy, who is going to do my wedding jollof?
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Chino Jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana Jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so good. Tasty near.
What is going on here?
Enjoy Jollof the Ghana way. Gino Jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
Rent back with the Pia Upa. Come on, come see you. Where Jessica? My friend, see before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to obtain and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto etiaka. Inti ene, wo no ba no mpe baby amobeda. Oh, no abeka. Ye did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Playing for your country, easy. Scoring, easy. Winning, easy. You know what be easy now? Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Easy. It gets everything inside. Gary, creamer, sugar, roasted granules. Just add water. Sharp my soakings make ready. Taste and energy. Made easy. I'm a match winner, but the real champion is Kivo 4-in-1 Gary mix. Champion taste.
Also available strawberry, coconut, and chocomore. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching ABC Midday here on ABC News Ghana Television. We're streaming live on Facebook at ABC News GH_. In more news, Head of Communications at Small Arms Commission, Kauni Anyete Sowa, has urged Ghanaians to voluntarily surrender all unlicensed firearms as part of the Minister of Interior's aim, that is Muntaka Mohammed, to curb the flowing or the release of firearms into the hands of unauthorized personnel.
There's going to be a joint operation by all the allied security agencies to make sure that we retrieve these illicit firearms. And I can tell you that if you listen to the statement that was read, it says that after the amnesty, people who do not take advantage of the grace period will be considered as criminals. They will be considered as people who have criminal intent to use the firearms to foment trouble or to indulge in criminal activities. And it stated clearly that the full rigors of the law will be brought to bear, uncompromising. So if you don't take advantage of this grace period, then it means that the law will come after you. He even mentioned, he made mention of canine dogs and all that. That shows you how serious it is. That shows you the kind of thinking and planning that has gone into this gun amnesty. So we want to urge all Ghanaians and encourage Ghanaians to take advantage, because keeping the firearm, you may think that you are not going to use it now, you need it for protection. It is not licensed. But I can tell you that the day you will use this firearm, the police will definitely come.
Up next is business news.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yenini na da da da. So pa mediane no abe.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Of business, the government of Ghana is considering a state-led takeover of Springfield Exploration and Production Limited stake in the West Cape 3 Points Block 2 as part of efforts to safeguard declining petroleum assets and boost national oil production. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Richmond Roxon, spokesperson and head of communications at the Ministry of Energy. According to the statement, the National Petroleum Corporation and its upstream subsidiary, GNPC Exploco, are in constructive discussions with SEP to explore the takeover option. The move forms part of the government's broader strategy to optimize upstream output and prevent valuable resources from remaining idle due to prolonged commercial or operational bottlenecks. To guide the process, the Petroleum Commission and GNPC are procuring an independent technical consultant and transactional advisor. Their work will include a full technical assessment of the block, a cost audit of past expenditure, financial due diligence, and an independent valuation to determine the fair value of SEP's interest. In more business news, bribery in Ghana is decreasing overall, but informal payments are still costing business significantly. New data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that direct bribery has fallen from 18.4% to 14.3%, and public officials are requesting unofficial payments less often. However, voluntary or appreciation payments have nearly doubled to 32.9%. For companies, this creates a mixed picture. Although they are less likely to be openly asked for a bribe, many still feel pressure to offer small payments, often under 100 Ghana cedis, to speed up routine dealings with state agencies such as licensing, inspections, and utilities. These unofficial transactions, while individually small, add up and remain common. The report warns that such payments make service delivery unpredictable. Because they are unofficial and inconsistent, businesses struggle to anticipate timelines, standards, or administrative costs. As a result, firms continue to bear hidden, recurring expenses even as overt bribery declines. The growth in voluntary payments suggests a shift in behavior, but highlights an ongoing economic strain on the private sector. Now, the Ghana Union of Traders Association is warning the government not to rush into rolling out artificial intelligence systems at ports when the tax environment for traders is already unbearable. The association says the new VAT reforms have thrown many traders, especially small and medium enterprises, into confusion and financial distress, and insists that all taxes at the port be rationalized before the implementation of AI systems. In a statement issued on November 18, First Deputy Secretary General Richard Amamu said Guta has been observing the recent VAT changes with grave concern. He said the government's intention to enhance revenue collection is understandable, but the reforms are already creating deep distortions in the trading environment. According to him, the new VAT threshold has introduced a form of segregation in the marketplace. He said two traders selling the same commodity in the same market are now treated differently. Mr. Mamu explained that traders whose turnover exceeds the new 750,000 Ghana cedis threshold must charge an additional 20% VAT, while those below the threshold remain exempt. Joining us on the line is Benjamin Yeboah, the General Secretary, the Welfare Officer of GUTA. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Right. Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. Hello,
Thank
sir.
you for having me. Your voice is quite faint.
Can you hear me now?
A little now, yeah. But not too loud.
All right. So
hello. Second, yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now, sir?
I can hear you now.
All right. Now, I want to know why the association, that is GUTA, is asking the government to halt the implementation of AI systems which seeks to generate more revenue for them, at the port especially.
Thank you so much for calling, and good afternoon to your listeners and viewers. We are not asking government to halt it. No, we are for anything that will enhance the revenue collection for government. We are for it. The more reason why we applauded the modified tax system. The problem with the AI thing is that we've not had that conversation with the Ministry of Finance yet, or GRA for that matter, on how it's going to work in terms of its operations. And that is the difficulty, because these kind of things, when we are part of it and we understand it, it's easier for us to also communicate it well to our members. For now, we are not really very conversant with what government is saying. Secondly, we are a little worried in the fact that even before this government came into power, we had had some conversations even with His Excellency the President on issues concerning cost of clearance at the ports, which is really high. The cost of clearance is about 50% of your total import, about 50% of your total import, which is really high. If you take your bill of lading, you see all the itemized costs on it, levies, charges, and duties. And therefore, we felt that whatever rationalization that will go on at the port should go hand in hand with they also looking at the cost of imports, because it's really high. So if we talk of misclassifications or under declaration, and you don't look at the flip side of the cost of clearance, then it becomes some mismatch. And that is why we are drawing government's mind to. So holistically, we can have a well-designed system that will help government in raising revenue, then also help the importer not being shortchanged with so much levy charges and duty costs.
The port, the government loses a lot of revenue through diversion of goods or other unauthorized activities. So this AI system seeks to close that gap rather than putting a lot of burden on the traders. Or don't you see it from that angle as well?
Systems that government intend to put in place at the ports of entry is welcome, because yes, it will check, like you mentioned, all those things you mentioned, so that the revenue that is due government comes to government, and therefore it raises the revenue rate for government. We don't have a problem with it. We are also saying that, look, government looking at that, they should also look at the flip side, because that is our concern too, that we are being charged so much at the ports, and we've enumerated it to government before they came to power. You've seen it. I mean, it's really a bit ridiculous if we have to pay 50% of our total import cover just for clearing of your goods. So if you have $100,000 worth of items at the port, you need a little over $50,000 to clear those items, and with service on the high side. So we are telling them that yes, put in all the systems that will help you, collect the needed revenue. But look at the flip side, and also look at the total cost of clearance too. So the two go hand in hand. That is all that we are saying. Not that we are not saying that we are saying it's worth it. No.
Right.
That is not our stand at all.
All right. Now, your General Secretary, Richard Amamu, noted in the statements that Guta is viewing and having observed the recent VAT changes with grave concern. What are these concerns?
Yeah, the concerns are that in as much as we applaud the modified system that government is bringing up, in fact, we've had some, engagement with GRE, and we see that yes, it's coming to expand the tax that hoping more people, either who are not paying taxes and all. We are like, it's good. Now they are raising the threshold from 200,000 to 750,000. So all those who fall under the 750,000 will be captured, and then they would be paying what they term modified tax. Their total sales within that year, they strike it by 3%, and then they pay. It's okay that those that even don't make much sales up to about 20,000 a year, just to they've given them a flat amount of 180 Ghana cedis. We feel it's a good move to capture a lot of people into the tax. But the only problem we have is that those above the 750,000, some of them will still be on the market, and then they would also be with those who are collecting or selling and paying at the modified tax rate. You understand? And their worry is that some of them, because either they were put on the flat rate, and then later they are moving them to the standard rate, they might not have the needed input for them to work out their input-output and be able to work the 20% standard rate on it. Before you realize, some of them may be forced to work the 20% on their sales. And therefore, we are advising government that in order to get the needed compliance that we are all looking for, why don't they make it optional for those above the 750,000 mark? So those who are above it and they feel that, look, my input calculation will be a problem, and therefore I prefer to do the modified system. It's total sales a year, they strike the 3% pay. So it becomes optional. Those who have their input okay and they can work input-output and work their standard rates on it and pay, fine. So that is where we are drawing government's mind to, so that that disparity, which we called for them to look at, and they are trying to do that through the modified, shouldn't still remain because of those that are above the 750, they might be having problems with their computations.
All right. Now, what you're suggesting cause chaos, rather, because you be on different systems?
Well, already we are on different systems. As we speak, we have those that do not collect at all. We have those that are collecting the flat rate, 4%, and there are those that are collecting the standard rate on the same market. Now, we have been in that system for quite a while now, and that is what we called for them to check the disparities and do something about it, which they are trying to do with the modified tax, which we have applauded. But we are saying they can please go further a bit by allowing those above and 750,000 to opt. If they prefer the 7 above and they want to stay on the standard, better. But if they feel that computation will be a problem because of the input, the input that they should have to do the computation, then they can opt for the modified. That is all that we are asking for.
All right. Thank you for your time this afternoon, sir.
Thank you too for having me.
Right. That was the welfare officer at the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Benjamin Nieboa. That's all for business news. Up next is sports with James Oheneba Makion.
Introducing better Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Hello, it's time for sports on the Midday News with me, James Ohimbamake. Let's start from the Ghana Premier League. And Asante Kotoko head coach Karim Zito says his team is confident to beat Young Apostles and has called on his players to keep fighting till they win. The Porcupine Warriors will meet Young Apostles in an outstanding GPL game this afternoon. He believes the team has what it takes to rise again, but must start winning games at home to keep their ambitions alive.
The attitude should be even bigger than the one we went in to play against Aduana. We've seen our mistakes, we've corrected them, and then we also talk about the mentality. Why should we wait for somebody to beat you before you wake up to play? And that's all amounted to the draw. But at the end of the day, it's better than we losing. So for a match against Young Apostles, we don't have any excuse. Yeah. Definitely, if we mean to win the league, these are some matches, all home matches should be win. Yeah. No matter how. No, rather, they are going back to injuries. When at the moment I have about 10 players that can never play this game, and I don't know when they will come to play. Like Kote of the ACL, and then you look at in team Shaibu, Minta, Walid, Entry, Set, Saka, Ansu, with Kamara who are gone for national duty. So all these boys I mentioned, the players I mentioned, will never be on the field tomorrow. So we are even left with 18 players. Even the small boy Amisa is also having growing issues. So these are, but at the end of the day, the rest we have to manage and then use the rest to achieve the objective. The attitude should be even bigger than the one we went in to play against Aduana. We've seen our mistakes, we've corrected them, and then we also talk.
Now, meanwhile, head coach for Young Apostles Abdul Anand believes Kotoko are stronger than his side, but his team will do their best to win the game.
Yeah, it's really going to be a tough match, but fear, no, there is no fear, but there is pressure. There is pressure on everybody. Even the team that are still on top of the league, there is pressure. The teams on the middle, there is pressure, and the teams on relegation zone too, there is pressure. We will all have our individual or team goals to achieve, yet the goal is not yet met. So since the goal is not yet met, you are under pressure to make sure that you meet your targets within the earliest stage. Yeah, it changed the direction because we realized that there are some few instances that we normally pick early goals because of how players arrange and the tactical layout within the start of the game. But we're just trying to see if we can do some 1 or 2 alteration to.
Now from the Ghana Premier League, let's move to the CAF Awards, and the 2025 CAF Awards takes place tonight in Rabat, Morocco, with Liverpool and Egypt star Mohamed Salah, Nigeria's Victor Osimhen and Morocco's Achraf Hakimi shortlisted for the coveted Africa Player of the Year award. Now, African football expert and head coach of Mali's national team, Tom Saintfiet, has tipped PSG and Morocco defender Achraf Hakimi to win the award.
On club and national team level, on a high level. Guirassy, who score frequently very important goals. Anguissa, who became champion with Napoli. Osimhen, who is very important with his goals in Turkey. So many players, Salah already so many years performing on top level in England. But for me, and also because it's a defender, I would give this year the trophy, and I said it earlier, to Achraf Hakimi. Winning the Champions League for the first time in history with Paris Saint-Germain, a team who invested the last 10 years in so many big names. We saw Messi, we saw Mbappe, we saw Ronaldo. They couldn't, Neymar, sorry.
Mommy, who is going to do my wedding jollof?
Oh, Kwame. You know our secret, right?
Yeah.
Efia. Yes, me. I've got it.
Now add your Chino jollof mix.
The perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time. And there you have it, your original Ghana jollof.
Jollof so good.
Jollof so good. Tasty, yeah.
What is going on here?
Enjoy jollof the Ghana way. Gino jollof is made with the perfect blend of tomatoes, pepper, and fine herbs and spices to ensure a consistent taste every time.
This advert is FDA approved.
Watching the ABC Midday News here on ABC News Ghana Television. Now, on the international front, rapper Nicki Minaj delivered a speech at the United Nations on Tuesday, November 18, 2025, addressing the persecution of Christians in Nigeria and calling for urgent global action. The event, titled Combating Religious Violence and the Killing of Christians in Nigeria, was organized by U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz and hosted by the U.S. mission to the UN. Minaj described the violence against Christians in Nigeria as a moral emergency and a wound on the soul of humanity, citing reports of churches being burned, families torn apart, and communities living in fear due to their faith. She emphasized that her message was not about taking sides, but about standing up against injustice, stating, "This isn't about taking sides. This is about standing up in the face of injustice." She thanked President Donald Trump for prioritizing the issue and calling for urgent action to defend religious freedom, particularly for Christians in Nigeria. That's all for international news. Up next is entertainment. In entertainment, an elder sister of the late High Life legend Charles Kwejo Fosu, Daddy Lumba, has told the Kumasi High Court that despite the long-term relationship with Priscilla Ofori, popularly known as Odobroni, the two were never married. Testifying before her ladyship Dorinda Smith Arthur, Ernestina Fosu, also called Akosua Brempoma, said her brother confided in her about almost everything, including his relationship with Odobroni. 6 children, one of whom was named after her. However, she insisted no customary or civil marriage ever took place between them. All for entertainment news, and that's all for midday news here on the ABC News Ghana television. For more news, log on to our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. We stream live on Facebook at abcnewsgh_. I am Peggy Nyakwabano. Enjoy the rest of your day.